page on. And
Yeah, all right.
I was like, put the page up, and then can you just play the song? Do you have the song still?
Yeah. Hold on. What the fuck, dude? Why today?
So can you switch?
Oh wait, I have to figure out why I'm not getting audio.
On your desktop.
Yeah, I'm saying, can you just...
Hold on. I'm just gonna switch this to live video for now, because I have to figure out why I'm just not getting audio. Hey.
Oh, hey! Hey, we're having technical problems.
I don't know what the fuck the deal is right now.
No idea. Well, welcome. I'm Kyle Mocha. This is Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. As always, I am joined by Mr. Justin Olimpado, who's currently working on the technical difficulties there.
Get what,
I don't know. There was sound coming through the video.
But that was the sound coming off of the original, like, from...
No, that was coming through this.
Through this?
Through this,
speaker.
Monitor.
Or through that monitor.
Yes.
Oh,
no idea. Not sure. But anyway, Justin is here.
Funny.
He's going to try to fix the shit that's acting funny.
There we go. This is why.
This is why.
Okay.
We got it.
Would you like to go back to it?
You know what,
Let's
guys?
do an intro.
False start. You ready? Here's our intro for episode 8.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, mom and dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Yeah.
All right, and welcome officially to Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, Season 3, Episode 8. I am your host, Kyle Mocha, and joining me, as always, and we've not done this yet tonight.
We have not.
Not at all.
Ever.
Mr. Justin Olimpado. Welcome,
Hello.
Justin.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. For people joining us live or people watching us
This is
on,
week
on
2
YouTube.
weeks of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. We add a bunch of things to it. It makes sense that we're going to have more problems when we start adding more things.
Sure. Thanks for sticking through that.
But yeah, thank you for everybody that was
All
live
my
and stuck
problems
through.
are mental, not technical.
They are mental. They are mental. And I don't even want to say speaking of mental and jumping. Okay, speaking of ornamental, we are also joined by Mr. Zachary.
Ooh, it's a false pop.
False pop storming. Zachary, have you ever been a false pop before? Did anybody ever think that you were a father and then you became the false pop?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, no.
So, but
yes, but
they thought they were pregnant and they were
versus
they weren't. Okay. Did anybody ever have a baby and think it was your kid and try to come up to you after the fact? Never?
No.
Never? I ran one time. One time I ran into an ex-girlfriend of mine about like a year and a half after we had broken up, and she had what was somewhere between a 6 and 12-month-old child, and I'm just sitting there looking at her, and I see her with the carriage pushing it through the mall. It was nice.
Don't worry, they can hear that.
And she was pushing it through the mall, so I couldn't see the baby or anything, but I saw her, and it was like a small, like obviously like it was covered with like, you know, like it was a sleeping baby, so you could tell it's like a under a year old child. And I'm like, uh-oh, and I'm quick in my head doing math, like, all right, takes 9 months to make a baby in a belly, and takes 30 seconds to make that baby in the belly. And the last time we spent 30 seconds together was, oh my God, that's my child.
Yeah.
That's my child. That's my child.
You had yourself convinced.
I was totally convinced. But what very, very quickly was proven to me was that I am not of African American descent.
Yes.
And neither is my ex.
Yes.
That ex. There's one girl technically that is an ex. If you boink somebody, it's not really an ex. So an ex-lover of mine.
Yes.
One time.
Can I ask you a question?
It wasn't
Kyle
her.
betting the black girl.
One time.
May I, the question I have for you was, did this happen, were you dating this girl when you were living in Saw Creek, and does she live in Saw Creek?
No, and
because it's Justin's baby.
Okay.
No, is it
not.
Justin's baby?
Yes, it's mine.
Did somebody else do this to you at some point?
Yeah,
you
somebody
thought,
that lived in Saw Creek.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't a Saw Creek relationship. It was right when I moved into town relationship.
Okay.
And yeah, no, it was strange.
It was very weird.
But yeah, for
her
a second
parents
there,
hated me.
I
and
made
still
myself
hate
a
me
false pop though.
for no reason. Like,
yeah.
I didn't. That's not my child. So why do you hate me?
Yeah, I don't know. Now, Justin, I do have one quick question for you, because this is again, we're our second week in working on technical difficulties.
Yes.
And our epic that we are our 6-part epic, which is why we were a little late to start.
Yes.
These songs.
There's been technical difficulties all night.
All night.
I struggled with the song for a bit.
Personal technical difficulties for Justin and I. Not for Zach.
Not for
Again,
Zach.
you wrote the song. We're trying to do shit to it, and you're writing geniusly weird, epic stuff.
It is amazing.
That goes from one time signature to another. But we'll get all into that in a little bit.
It was hard for you, like.
I don't know why I struggled on it so
weird.
much.
It's
I don't
so
know.
weird.
Right,
And then,
we'll get into it later.
yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more, but it's definitely so.
These
We were a
guys
little
fucked up.
We
You know?
we were a little
gotta
late
know.
because Justin and I were fucking up, and yeah, so we were already late there. Technical difficulties
Yes.
and all of that stuff.
But what was your question to me?
I don't know now.
God damn it.
Because Zach insulted us, and then my ego just immediately went to him. Yeah, we did fuck up. We fucked up pretty hard there.
Yeah, we did.
It was all me fucked up. I don't know. I don't know what the question was anymore. I do know what the question was.
Yes.
What's the name of the episode? Do we know? Did you put a
It
name in
is
there?
The Epic Continues.
The Epic Continues. Okay, cool.
I thought it
Cool.
should be 3/4 is really hard.
3/4
That could be next week.
That could be next week, because I'm sure you're not done with 3/4.
I mean,
And
it
switching
does
back
have to
and
pop
forth.
back up at some
It
point.
does. It's
sort
a
of.
theme. There's a thematic thing to it.
But it's not like we haven't written in 3/4 before. But we will get to that as another thing.
Yes, we will a little bit later on. But yeah, this week we have a bunch of new stuff happening. I want to just kind of jump out at this right off the bat. One of our wonderful sponsors is the Cinder Inn in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And starting tomorrow, along with Trivia Night, it is the first prime rib special night.
Yeah, I
at
did
the
see
Cinder.
that.
Yeah.
I did see
It's
that.
starting tomorrow, 5 o'clock, I believe it kicks off. I'll be behind the bar during the day, and then I'll be running trivia at night. And then on Friday, after we already do our clam and jam Thursdays with the seafood specials and the raw bar,
Jam out with your clam.
you can jam out with your clam out if you got
Or
a clam
in.
or in. I was
Or
going to say
something
that.
in your clam.
Something in your clam.
Hang a hot dog out your pussy.
So we're already having that. Hang a hot dog out your pussy down at the Cinder Inn every
I'm getting
Thursday.
that tattooed on my face.
Hang a hot dog out your
It's the
pussy.
only way into the cigar bar.
But then you also get on Friday now. We are doing
we did name the Epic. The Epic is named.
Oh, we do have a name for it, yes.
It's called Rubbish.
It's called Rubbish.
Yeah.
That's Helen joining us there in the chat.
And happy birthday to Nicole. It's Nicole's birthday.
Happy birthday to Nicole.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Helen, I'm glad you're spending Nicole's birthday with us. We won't tell them or tag them in everything that we post about this episode at all. But Friday we are doing at the Cinder Inn, we are doing our first also this week, a second first for this week. We're doing a surf and turf, so you're gonna have a nice like 6 or 10 ounce steak, and then we're getting some 5 ounce lobster tails.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And it's gonna be legit. You could also get the crab legs for that as well.
I don't like lobster.
You're not a lobster fan?
I'm a crab dude.
I'd rather eat
I like
crab any day.
I like lobster way more than crab. I think because I can get a lobster out way easier than I can get a crab out.
Yeah, but lobster doesn't taste as good as crab does.
Yeah.
It's all getting dunked in butter.
No, I don't like to eat crab and butter. I don't.
I literally, it is just a way to
Well,
deliver
actually, I
butter
should say
into my
the
butt.
type of crab. Like, it
'Cause I
depends
boof-
on.
I
it
boof the
depends on
crab.
what it- Oh, yeah?
You're supposed to take it out of the shell?
No, you eat
not
the
when you're
shell.
boofing it.
You
When you're
totally-
boofing it, you leave the shell on.
You hang a crab leg out your coochie.
Why you got that? Why you got that hot dog hanging down too?
Yeah.
You got dogs
You
and
got a
legs
full-on
coming
part.
out your
That's the real
coochie.
surf and
What
turf.
about
A hot
lobster?
dog and a
Lobster
hot dog.
sausage. Can we make
Ooh.
lobster brats?
Lobster brats.
You
I need a
could.
lobster brat.
You could.
Brock lobster.
Brock lobster. Brock lobster. All right, so again, we were talking about the Cinder. You got a bunch of specials this week, so go check that all out. But tomorrow is our trivia night, and every single week I like to bring to you guys 3 questions from tomorrow's trivia. So we are going to jump into what we lovingly called trivia time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eventually.
Yeah. Now, one thing that's kind of funny is that last
I'm winning?
week. You're winning. You are winning. We do have a score over here. Justin, you have 4. You've gone up.
I know, yeah, I'm
Zach, you
catching
have
up.
10, and the stupid guest, who for the second week in a row are not just having one, is at 8. So we're not doing the no guest thing for a couple weeks just so Justin can catch up. That is not what we're doing. We're definitely kind of doing that. But last week I gave you 3 categories, and this week they're back because nobody showed up to trivia night at the Cinder last week. So for whatever reason,
Assholes.
it's back. So if you remember
Show up
last
to
week,
trivia time,
we did
motherfuckers.
a category on Jim Carrey. We did a category on male pop stars, and we did a category on sports lingo. And I threw the sports lingo one away. It just wasn't. It was being annoying to write all of them.
Right.
So I replaced it with what we do a true false called no shit bullshit.
Okay.
This is the animal edition. So
Okay.
we're back with Jim Carrey, pop stars, and now no shit bullshit animal edition.
My
So
favorite threesome.
the favorite threesome: a good animal, a good Jim Carrey,
I mean, he's done a movie about
and
animals.
a good male pop star. He has.
2 of them.
Was there a male
3
pop
of
star
them.
in it?
Yeah, I think so.
You remember that third one, Mr. Popper's Penguins?
Oh, yeah.
You're never
that
gonna
I
forget
didn't-
that
yeah,
name now.
I actually didn't remember.
You didn't remember. You're like Mr. Pippin's penholes. That's not a thing.
Hang a penguin out your coop.
All right, so the first question is going to be from the Jim Carrey category. Again, no multiple choice for you guys, but when you come tomorrow night and
Multiple choice.
you will show up, it will be multiple choice.
All right.
So the question is, the third and possibly most memorable film of Jim Carrey's, released in 1994, because he had 3 in 94, was the Farrelly Brothers classic Dumb and Dumber. The film follows Harry and Lloyd as they travel cross-country to return a briefcase to a woman Lloyd drove to the airport. Unbeknownst to them, the briefcase is full of ransom money, and the kidnappers are hot on their trail. You've seen the fucking movie, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just recapping it. All right, what is the last name of Mary, the woman who is the owner of the briefcase?
dude.
What is the last name of Mary? Now, we
God
do have
damn
people
it.
in the chat. If you're listening in the chat right now, you can
my
throw out an
God.
answer. Keith's throwing out an answer right there for you. So you can see, remember, there's the whole confusion scene where they can't remember the name.
True.
All right? And so Keith might just be playing into that whole thing right
I'm
now.
trying
Could
not
be.
to look.
He
Try
could
not
be.
to
I'm not
look. He
looking
could
at
I
be.
wish he didn't post that.
Is he just now changing everything?
Yeah. Swim,
Swimmy. Yeah, swimmy. It's swimmy, swammy.
Yeah.
All right. So, Justin, do you have a guess at what it is?
I'm just gonna go with first Swanson.
Okay, Swanson with what
Keith said.
Keith saying. So you're siding with Keith?
Yes.
You're taking your Keith lifeline there?
I am.
All right. And Zach, what do you think is...
I had something, but I changed it. I wrote Simpson.
Simpson? It's Swanson. It is Swanson. Right. So, Justin, that puts you to 5 points. You are halfway away.
That's a total cheat.
All right, I'll take a half point.
A half point. You are 4.5 points now. All 4.5 points. All right, now number 2. Keith can't help you with this one. I told them to join in.
Yeah, all right, join in. I won't
look. No shit bullshit. When this is again Animal Edition. Right. When in heat, a lioness will mate with a lion once a day for a month straight. No shit, that's true. Bullshit, that's false. When in heat, a lioness will mate with a lion once a day for a month straight.
All right.
Justin, do you think it is no shit or bullshit?
I put no shit.
No shit. All right. And Zach, what did you put?
I've seen horny cats.
No shit. You've seen horny cats. That's what I was hoping people would be kind of looking at to their own bullshit? Cats. It is no shit. You both have that correct there. Cool. They actually have sex up to 50 times per day.
That's crazy.
When they are in heat. For an average of however many minutes, but it's like every 20 to 30 minutes they are starting to have sex again.
I've seen a house cat fuck a refrigerator
for like an hour straight.
You know what I mean?
Anything is on limits.
Doesn't an actual lion just hunt, fuck, and then sleep for the rest of the day?
I think it's pretty much what lions do because they're giant killing machines that have wonderful voices. You ever notice that most lions sound like Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Matthew Broderick, or Donald Glover? It's a weird thing with all these lions in the world.
And
Beyonce.
Well, apparently Beyonce.
Beyonce. Yeah. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen Lion King? The new Lion King movie? Have you?
No, I'm not gonna.
I've listened to some of the soundtrack, and I'll say Billy Eichner is just as good as Nathan Lane. Not looking at what's going on with the actual characters, but the vocal side of it, him and Pumbaa with Seth Rogen. Are it's
is
just
it
as fun.
For seeing the original animated,
more or less, with certain things added in.
And is Aladdin doing the same thing?
I think so. Okay. I think they're pretty much trying to do as much of a straight recreation
of the actual movie.
Yeah, but this wasn't even live action technically. They keep calling it live action.
Well, yeah, it was animated.
It's all just high-end computer animated.
The problem I've heard about it though is that, especially with Timon and Pumbaa, it's the same jokes and everything.
Yeah. Well, they apparently got to improvise.
Let me finish, you son of a bitch.
All right.
But the problem is that it's not as funny because it's too realistic.
Well, that's what...
When it's a cartoon,
probably.
And from the people that have seen it that I've heard, they're like, yeah, they're saying the same jokes, but they're not funny because it just...
Do you think that also plays into the fact of that's what they're expecting, though? Like people going in, because I saw plenty of memes like when Lion King's on, the kids front, you don't say a fucking word or whatever the stupid memes are. You know what I mean? Like this is my movie, get the fuck out type of thing.
Yeah.
Those people need to fucking grow up.
Well, yeah, no shit. But do you think that's what a lot of people are expecting?
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably one of the best soundtracks ever written.
And the game is fucking so hard to play.
Oh, I never tried to play the
Genesis?
Game. Yeah.
But it's still it's a great movie. I'll see the remake at some point, I'm sure. But
on
musically,
Disney,
Billy Eichner did a good job. I'll say that.
I don't know who is that.
Billy Eichner, he does Billy on the Streets. He's the really over-the-top, loud gay guy that's
Billy
just
on the street.
He's just like, who are you? What are you doing? He's just real loud and like abrasive. He's done a lot of TV.
Singer?
No. He's an actor and a comedian.
Oh, you were talking about the music.
But he sings in it. He does the part, and he's just as pretty much as good as Nathan Lane. I'm assuming he has some training before this, but who
was Nathan Lane?
Nathan Lane was the original Timon.
Yeah. He was.
I can see what's happening. They don't have a clue.
He's in
Nathan
so
Lane.
Much shit.
Yeah. Do you know who Nathan Lane is?
Yeah, I hate Nathan Lane.
Okay, so yeah, he was the original Timon.
Timon's a little one, right?
Yeah. You wouldn't think it because Nathan Lane's not a little one. I don't know. Some not as well known person. He was less well known than Rowan Atkinson, and Rowan Atkinson was playing Zazu back in the day. Replaced by John Oliver, which is another okay updating of a casting.
Yeah.
But either way, much more important.
There's only one original, right?
Like Lion King?
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
Oh, yeah. He's the only one that came back.
Mufasa,
Yeah, he's still Mufasa.
Okay.
It would have been weird if they just brought Matthew Broderick back. It's like, all right, sure,
What have you been doing?
Yeah, how's life been? How's life? I've been doing off-Broadway versions of The Producers and hanging out with my beautiful husband, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Wait, he's married to Sarah Jessica Parker?
We're teaching Zach so many things today. This is great. Another thing we're going to teach him, number 3, the final of the trivia questions. It's from the male pop stars category. So this is in 2017. Ed Sheeran was the center of a copyright lawsuit when his song Shape of You came under scrutiny for its extreme similarities to a very famous 90s hip-hop song. The team behind the writing of the original song were granted writing credits for this Sheeran single. Again, it's for Shape of You. What hip-hop song did Ed Sheeran rip off, whether on purpose or not, with Shape of You? Do you know the song Shape of You?
No.
Me neither.
Me
neither.
I think we had talked about this before.
I knew this story, not
yeah, I don't know the song, but
I listened to it after hearing this to hear the similarities.
Did you know the original?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah, you know the original.
When you say it, I'll know.
You'll definitely know. So basically the question is, pick one hip-hop song that was very famous from the 90s that might have been the one that Ed Sheeran ripped off.
You have to. Can I give the artist?
Yeah, artist. I'll take the artist at this point. If you give me just the artist,
all right,
at that point. But it's a very famous song. It is probably, I would say, it's probably in the top 5, if not top 3 of hip hop songs of the 90s, and that's definitely coming from my perspective.
Right. I don't know if this is right, but this is what I'm going
all right, you got an idea, Zach? You want to throw an idea down? All right, Justin, what is your idea?
I put Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls?
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls. What song would you think that it would be?
I don't even
Again,
know,
not knowing the Ed Sheeran song, it's kind of bullshit.
I don't know.
I wrote this question hoping other people know Ed Sheeran songs. Sometimes I write questions and I'm like,
the most exposure I've had from Ed Sheeran is fucking Game of Thrones and Yesterday.
That's the most I know of Ed Sheeran is the movie Yesterday. Zach, any guesses there?
I wrote Going Back to Cali, which is a Biggie song.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
It is No Scrubs by TLC.
Oh,
shit, I was going to write Waterfalls.
I know I heard that story.
Originally, I was going to write Waterfalls.
Yeah, and then this kind of segues wonderfully into the current news that's going on with fucking...
I have to listen to this fucking Ed Sheeran. I know No Scrubs.
I'm trying to not do No Scrubs, but do No Scrubs, and then maybe I'll stumble upon the Ed Sheeran melody. We can backdoor our way to an Ed Sheeran song.
I don't want a haircut. My hair looks stupid and I like the way it is.
Yo, I don't want to dye my hair. My hair is red and I'm an icon for it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the song.
Ed Sheeran, Shape you seem like a nice guy, but
yeah.
Did you hear the 50 Cent Eminem song that he did?
Oh, it's bad.
So bad, dude.
Ed
Listen
Sheeran?
to it. Yes.
Well, we talked about it a while back. The idea that there was the proposal from him, I think, of doing a remake of Lady Marmalade with him, Justin Bieber, and Bruno Mars. It's just like, no, stop doing things. Or do better things.
Do better things.
Pull a John Mayer. Pull a John Mayer, be famous and a big pop star, and then go and do the Chappelle Show. Prove to everybody.
Was he famous for like teens? Is that what?
Like his whole like.
It's like he appeared.
Your Body Is a Wonderland came out, and he was the biggest thing in the world.
John Mayer was.
John Mayer. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you meant Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I'm saying Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Ed Sheeran. Yeah. No, he's.
Sheridan.
I think he's just an internet-based sensation. Like he wrote songs, put them out for free, and then they just sold like crazy. But he was in the right scene in London, or where he was from in England, at least. That he was connected with like better artists, like more contemporary style artists, people that are writing hip hop, and so he's been collaborating with people in that way since the beginning, which definitely gave him a boost up. This is all from a real quick cursory lookup of Ed Sheeran when I was researching for that question. No, I don't know. But he got sued 3 years ago, and then finalized 2 years ago. Katy Perry is in the middle of getting sued.
Yeah, no, she lost.
Dark Horse. Okay, so it's officially
she lost. See that.
Now, the one thing that I read that kind of like, you know, liking to play devil's advocate with situations and just immediately go against whatever happened, just be like, oh, that's fucked up. How many notes are there on a scale, Zach?
I mean, it depends on the scale, but usually, like 8.
8. there's only so much you can do. How many times have you written a song and you stop and you go, oh, that kind of sounds like this for a tenth of a second? Did you listen to both songs? No, I didn't listen to I know the Katy Perry song.
What is the song Dark Horse from?
It's a Christian rap group.
Oh yes, that's right. I do remember.
But if you listen to
is it just a blatant rip?
No, but it's like the tempo has changed.
Okay.
And maybe the key. But
do you think she got burned? Did she write that song, or did they buy that song and she?
There are writers that wrote it.
Like, no, but I think from what I read, they won $3 million, and she is personally, because of the way that they did the copyright of it, personally responsible for I think $800,000 of that.
Makes sense.
And then Dr. Luke and I think there's 6 people on that song that wrote it. I think Dr. Luke, he was the same guy who did like all the Kesha songs.
Kesha,
He was big for a while till he got Me Too'd. She probably didn't got any money anyway.
You're not getting anything.
But if you listen to both songs,
obvious.
It might not seem obvious to someone who's not like
paying attention for that sort of
like
thing,
really
or
a musician and can like
in
pick
any way.
apart the thing. But when I heard it, I was just like, it's I agree. Although. How
far do you go with it? That's the question. I mean,
I feel like you're gonna see more and more pop up after these suitcases have come out and be like, "Oh, I wrote this and blah blah blah," and these first 3 notes are the same melody that you do, and it's like, I mean, I think that's an unwritten rule in certain things.
Well, I wrote GDE and he wrote GDE, and it's a country song, and mine's a country song, and it says truck in there.
Yeah,
definitely ripped it off from me, and then it's just gonna be an ongoing. A waterfall of fucking lawsuits going all the way back to the 50s where you just find the first person who wrote a GDE chord progression song. And you just go with him. He was the first person to dumb it down to those 3 chords.
That's why you just start taking. If you want to steal things,
everybody give him your money.
If you just go to the free
copyright,
from us, dude.
So we can sue you.
Steal things from us, definitely. Well, okay, that's another good segue right there. We do have something coming down the pipeline soon from our. But what is his DJ name? DJ Hijinks. Our buddy Nick is putting together a. Oh, that one was.
We never played the beer song.
Oh, shit.
Ready for
we didn't do that.
We can do that in a second.
We'll do that in a second. But we. But yeah, he's putting together a mashup of one of our singles that we wrote back in season 2, the Grimes influence song.
Yeah, Overestimated.
Overestimated. So he's gonna be putting that together. So that's gonna be coming out soon. And Zach, you're totally right here. We forgot to talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, we did.
How did we do that?
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are we drinking?
It's tea and beer.
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are we drinking? We're drinking beer.
I'm hoping that this is alright.
Well, we have been looking for this for a while.
Yeah.
You brought it up about a month or so ago. This is the Bud Light Lemon Tea. Now, we know from last year
I like it.
that we like Bud Light. We chose Bud Light.
This is way better.
And now, before I take a sip, our conversation we had in the beer distributor with the guy was like, it's going to taste like Twisted Tea or something along those lines. First sip, does it taste like Twisted Tea?
Not
all right, so I'm going to take.
It has a sweetness of tea, like you would be drinking like a sun-brewed tea.
Oh yeah.
Totally drink these.
Now, every time there's alcoholic tea in any way, it always tastes like the tea was left out for a day, and you're drinking it, which you have to just kind of get over.
No, it just tastes like it's regular, like real tea.
It tastes like you put a little splash of unsweetened tea and then a little bit of lemon in a Bud Light.
Tea isn't carbonated though, is it?
It's lightly carbonated and it goes down really fucking
No,
easy.
this is good.
This is carbonated.
A really good summer.
It's a lager. You can't read it. It's
white letters
on a gold background right here.
Light
but this is the Bud
tea.
Light lemon tea. So we're gonna enjoy the Bud Light lemon tea.
Well, look, they added lemons to the
logo.
Anheuser logo.
Oh yeah, they did. They put lemons on the side there.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my face.
The Anheuser lemon logo.
Not the lemon one.
Oh, okay, just the regular one.
Just a lemon.
Just a lemon. All right, so we're gonna enjoy this while we listen to our very, very special featured band for this evening. They're called Jurassic. They are out of the Melbourne area of Australia.
Pretty awesome.
What's great for us is we have all gotten into randomly a lot of Australian bands. Zach more than everybody, but the punk from the Cosmic Psychos, and they're kind of just branching off from there. You've got the weird kids, Smoko.
The
Chaps.
Is it Chats?
Shats?
Or Chats?
I don't
know. I'm not sure. But those guys, so there's a bunch
Chats,
of really,
probably?
really awesome music coming out of
Chats.
Australia.
So, and not to mention, King Gizzard.
Yeah.
And Tame
Impala.
Impala.
Fuck yeah.
Courtney Barnett.
There are
a billion Australian bands.
and
Avalanches.
Staple Tapeworms to Your Penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You got Passenger of Shit. Now, this band, I believe the way that I wound up getting in contact with them is when we wrote our Cosmic Psychos style song.
Yes.
I believe I hashtag like Australia, Australian punk, Aussie punk, all this stuff. And then I either got a like from them or I hit one of the hashtags and searched to see if I could find other good Australian punk. And so I came across Jurassic. The first song and the song that we're going to be playing for you is available. You can get it on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. And it's also available to stream on YouTube.
It not the easiest to find on Apple Music. They just put this stuff out.
They just put this out, and everybody watching this video, this is probably the 9th play on YouTube for this video. Right. I have been 2 through 8 of them.
Yeah, it just came out.
It just came out, and they are a very they're my style of punk rock. It feels, we were talking about it has a little bit of the feel of like Get Up Kids in his voice, but it's like Get Up Kids got ran over by Dinosaur Jr. in the best fucking way. You threw a little bit of you said a sound kind of like Dead Men's feel, the same way the Dead Men kind of have their groove to their songs.
I mean, his voice sort of reminded me a little bit of Kev.
So we are really stoked to bring this to America. And
if they want to, they could stay here.
You guys could definitely come and stay here. You can stay at my place.
How long?
24-hour, 25 hours.
Yeah, 25 hours at least.
Yeah, all the way
with
to
the week.
the East Coast of
Just to come to Stroudsburg.
Bumfuck.
Just to drink. Hey, they're from the suburban outskirts of Melbourne. We're from the suburban outskirts of a bunch of places. Maybe we're just on the same level. I think that we are.
Come here, guys.
So come here.
We'll get you a show in town.
We'll get you a show. One show guaranteed if you fly all of this way. And hey, we'll even try to get you headlining. Yeah. So this song is called Tar and Smoke. You can check out Jurassic on Instagram at Jurassic Band and then an underscore. But I think if you just get the first part, you'll find them. So again, this is Tar and Smoke. What is this running? About like 4 minutes or something like that? 3.5?
4 minutes, 33 seconds.
Hell yeah. So 4.5 minutes. So here is Jurassic, Tar and Smoke. Once again, we'll see you guys in 4.5 minutes. Enjoy.
Won't you tell me that I belong? this one time. So damn dark, you can't see where I'm going or where I'm from. I hide away, crawl for shelter. Startles me, I follow it in a path of disaster. Let me go! Let me come everywhere I go! Just let now watch it go. What the fuck? Just let now watch it go.
All right. Yeah, so again, that was
Oh,
Jurassic.
play it again.
That was Jurassic. Again from Australia. So if you're listening and you're in
liked it.
Australia and you're not them, go check them out. If you're listening and you're in Australia and you are them, thanks for letting us play your music, guys. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really rad.
Again, we're gonna. I was saying before, we're gonna just start hitting up everything in Australia, all the little towns, and find
Okay.
people on Instagram and just start playing like the.
We'll get there eventually. I want to go so bad.
Oh God, yeah! But we're gonna make a nice connection with a bunch of people, and then when we go there, we'll be like folk heroes. In a
Yeah.
way.
Because I hate flying.
These are
If
the
I'm
guys
gonna
that brought
take
us to
that
America.
Whole day, a flight that lasts a whole day. I want to stay out there for a while. You know what I
hell
mean?
yeah,
I want to do
dude.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2
at
weeks
least.
minimum. 2 weeks minimum,
Yeah.
and 3 days of that is definitely going as far into the wilderness
Oh,
part
hell
of it
yeah.
as they'll let you.
You
or
trying to
someone
fight
will take you.
kangaroos? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I just
Trying
want
to
to see
kill
it.
cats.
I want to find the guy who's. I don't think it was in Australia, but remember that the guy who smoked his own shit. I want to find somebody
That's
like
Australia,
that.
right? Yeah.
It was either Australia or the Middle East. I forget
no,
which
it
one.
was Australia.
I mean, they do that. I think they huff their own shit.
They have their. I want to
this
go
guy
find those
believed
people.
that if he bathed, he would die.
If he bathed the
And
dirtiest
he was
man
like
ever.
85 years old. He lived in a hut.
Really?
And he
Yeah.
would like shit and let it get like the sun bake it and pack it in a pipe, and he smoked his own poop.
Yeah, I want to do that.
He was
Sure, he
like,
got
he
super
was like,
I wanna do
super,
that.
like half
I think it's the way to go.
Aboriginal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like see like the whole country, the city, everything. It'd be a fucking
I want to
crazy
be
place
that
to
guy,
go.
the dirtiest man.
Well, I'm
in the
saying we do
world.
that, and then we're in the wilderness in Australia. We just decide to stay. They're not gonna get rid of us. They're just be like, those fucking dirty
As
pieces
long
of
as
shit
we have
over
some
there.
place to make music. We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we can make some instruments out of our shit
Out
if
of
we
our
don't
shit.
smoke it all.
Play drum shit of shit.
If we have
Yeah.
any
Drum set
leftover
of shit.
If
unsmoked
you don't
shit.
smoke all your shit, you can make music out of it.
If you don't smoke your shit, you can get a drum kit. All right. So speaking of making music, we did we talked about it a little bit before.
Yeah.
The part 2 of our 6-part epic. It's the story is Rubbish, the Garbage Man Epic. Part 1 was the overture, and this is the Mundane.
Yep.
So, Zach, as the creator of the story, why don't you walk us through what we're trying to talk about in this song?
This is Arthur's life in the mundane. The mundane is the real world that we live in currently.
Okay.
As we know, he's a garbage man.
Yes, he is.
And this is just about how shitty it is to be a garbage man, and how he's sort of a lost person.
Okay.
I think that's a good way to put it. If you're listening to the show and then listening to the songs, they're going to make a lot more sense.
Both of them are going up tonight, by the way.
Wonderful. And when I'm writing, and I'm trying to not write a lot of words, which is a problem we've established on the show that I have with writing lyrics, I wind up just getting vague and being more kind of like just like hinting at things and let the person be smart enough to hear it and understand what's going on. And then also, we've been talking about this story, so I know what the story is. So when I say a sentence that's like 4 words and it's really vague, it means half of a conversation that we had, and I understand that, and hopefully eventually we're going to have visual accompaniment in one way or another, whether it's just getting Zach's designs just on paper so people can see.
I've written a lot of this story,
and you've written so much story, so like we
Maps
could book it, comic book it, like I said, live production. We could definitely just make music videos that go along with it as a starter. But cool. Zach has been really nerding out in the best way, and every day we've gotten a new character sheet or a new storyline. So as far as the story,
on the couch, and he would walk, like I was working on a website, and he'd walk over, or I was playing a game or something, and he'd just start going off on the details, and had a full-on map drawn out, and like
well,
the lore is there.
Map's great. The lore is great. Everything about it is building the world, and in a conversation Zach and I had about this was basically, we need to develop everything so we can like develop it, come up with the rules basically so we can operate within that. So when we come back and we visit later on to this world, we're not just, shitty sequel adding a bunch of shit just for the sake of having more to write about or more to sing about.
All that being said, this song really has nothing to do with. This is a setup. So,
this is a setup.
This is the intro to the movie.
This is
mundane. This is
the beginning. Again, we were talking, or I was talking last week about like this. The end of it, you get a taste. This is, if you're looking at the story wheel, as I was talking about last week, you start off with introducing the person and what their needs are, and that's what this is. It's introducing a boring, mundane existence in a boring, mundane world, and the knowing that there's something bigger type of feeling. And then it approaching him. So this ends with the entering of like the chaos realm that he's going to exist in for the majority of the story.
Yeah.
But from a music standpoint, Zach, you haven't really written or recorded anything until the day of the podcast, as is our tradition. But you've been mapping things out in your head because the story. I mean, when you get into something creatively, you're gonna obsess over it, and you want to just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it gets stale.
Right.
So you've been writing kind of the song structure and idea in your head.
Yeah, I mean, playing a little bit of acoustic.
Yeah.
Or piano. But like going at it mathematically. This song is pretty mathematical.
Nice.
When it comes to why this chord is here and why this is that, and how it relates back to the overture, and then the songs that will be coming after this. It's a lot of thinking that I put into all of this.
Hell yeah. And then, as we again kind of talked about it before, Justin and I,
some struggling.
Yeah, some struggle. It was, it's some weird stuff tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that.
The riffs and the
it's very Pink Floyd-ish. Has that feel?
Definitely has the Pink Floyd feel. At one point while I was recording vocals, Zach just said, "You're singing hymns."
Yeah.
You were.
I was singing hymns.
The first verse is
straight up hymn. Yep. Oh, definitely. So, what was the runtime that we wound up getting on this song?
minutes 6 seconds.
All right, hell yeah. So
you're spot on that.
Spot on, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So you're gonna see again the artwork that comes along with this that Zach designed last week for the cover of Rubbish.
Yep.
So this is The Mundane. We'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Enjoy part 2 of the Garbage Man epic.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The end of that, so the end of the song, he touches the artifact that will transport him into Captalon. Now, this artifact is a karate trophy. He touches it, and that noise at the end, it's just him being pulled into another world.
Yeah.
And when you're writing it upstairs and just now listening to it especially, it is like I just see like the swirls, like old-fashioned sci-fi, like a swirling screen behind somebody. It's a little bit
I'm thinking not Evil Dead, but when he gets teleported and it's just like his body in a transposed fixed
and
image,
then everything else is moving around him type of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's supposed to be disorienting.
It is. It definitely is. And if you're still with us after that, you succeeded, and stay tuned till next week when we will be doing. Do we have a title for the third part of it? Do you know what that is, or are we still in the working stages?
I mean, the third part is the introduction to the land of Captalon, so it's probably going to be Captalon.
Captalon, all right. And
that is the name of our fantasy world.
The fantasy world
that we're living in.
Captalon. So we'll be back with more of that next week, and again, Justin will be uploading those videos to YouTube later on tonight, so you can check those out, and I'll be posting them all over Facebook, Instagram, all of that, so it'll be easy to find. But since we again are opting to not have a guest, which we're doing this project right now, we're focusing on the story, we're focusing on captivating you with Captalon. We don't need other people here right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You'll be back at some point. Favored guests of the past and the future. You will be here. But it's just the three of us. We're just kind of working on this thing. And
we're going to talk about racing.
We're going to talk about racing again. Yeah. So last week, what I love is we started off with the nerdiest thing we've decided to take on with the story. Esports. And then you bring up NASCAR as the second part of last week's episode, and we talk about all of that. So then we did talk a little bit about esports, and this week we are kind of combining what we talked about there in a little bit of a way.
It's the start of a mixture of technology meeting modern sport.
So Zach, you sent us a video that Donut had put out.
Donut,
that's a great channel.
If you're a car guy, like me and Justin are. Kyle is.
I like watching Donut because they're hilarious.
It's a great more power, baby.
If you're not a car guy, they're just good.
To James and Nolan and the whole crew. Those guys. It's one of my favorite car shows ever, including shit that was on TV. Like they're just so
they're fun about everything. If you don't understand how things work, they in a very simple
the whole
manner.
Science Garage thing
is great.
They had in the beginning, but they've got so much content. If you're into cars and you're not watching Donut, you really need to get on Donut. Yeah. Those guys are awesome. They imports Americans, exotics,
really everything. The history of where cars come from.
It is all on the table, and it's the cool thing is it's a little more accessible. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love Top Gear and Grand Tour.
These guys are more personable. I've watched them cry out. They have videos where they lose it. They're literally crying on screen because of how popular the channel is. But I'm talking more
like the money thing too. Like they'll talk about Civics and Mustangs and stuff. Sometimes you get watching the big you get watching the big auto programs or reading Car and Driver, and it's like, I can't afford these fucking cars. You know what I mean? So Donut
it's a fantasy show at that point, but this is
Donut
more
does
realistic.
Crazy stuff. But they also have some
Top
very
Gear is
down
basically every guy's dream that's into cars.
And Donut is every guy that's into cars doing the realistic approach to being into cars, for sure. That's cool. And again, if you don't like cars, they're just thoroughly entertaining. They are.
Maybe
have their personas
learn
down.
Some information about what kind of car you have.
Yeah.
They'll tell you the history.
Good way to go.
Yeah.
So you sent us a video, and what is the name of the sport that they are?
Formula E.
Formula E.
Yeah. No, I knew nothing about it.
Okay.
It's in its fifth year. I did some research.
Okay.
Yes, this is the 5th year.
All right.
2020 will be the 6th year. It just ended.
All right. So is it is it a full league thing right now? Is it just kind of like
full on Formula?
Okay.
It's a Formula series, so it's Audi, BMW, all the major companies that have Formula 1 cars.
Okay.
Now, but there's only 22 cars. Just like Formula 1, there's a specific amount of people that can race. Teams can only have 2 cars apiece.
Meaning like their car and their backup car?
No, their car and their other drivers. So
okay, so they can only have 2 drivers. So 11 teams maximum.
Yes.
Okay.
But the teams aren't... I don't think... it's not the big car manufacturers.
No, there's Audi. There's Audi, BMW, Mercedes has one.
But there's also some other ones.
There's other...
different sponsors,
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, just explain for those who don't know a little bit about what the actual race is.
It's open wheel cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your classic F1 car is the wheels are exposed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small cockpit. The wheels are hanging out.
Yeah. Built for speed.
Yes.
Built for speed and handling. Nothing that the 3 of us will ever fit in.
Oh, dude, no way. No
tiny, like the Formula 1 is
even if we could fit in it, we couldn't drive it.
Racing.
We'd be too heavy.
Yeah.
It'd be too heavy to be in those cars.
Yeah.
They require certain restrictions.
The thing that makes that gives it the E in Formula E, if you can take a guess,
efficiency.
They are electric cars.
Yeah, it's all electric cars.
Email cars.
You
already said electric
email
cars.
the race to each other. It's just a lot of typing.
It's a lot of typing.
Man.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
How many WPMs you got over there?
Better be at least 200.
Oh, he's at 200 WPMs. Oh, he's going places. All right, so it's electric open-wheeled racing.
All street courses too, which is cool.
Now,
so they're not racing on.
They have to though. They can't go on big tracks right now because of the limitations on technology.
But I like the street courses.
No, I think they're great.
Courses are cool.
I think smaller classes.
Some of my favorite F1s.
Smaller courses, but I mean, it also kind of makes it feel like they are go-karts in a way.
The tracks
especially
are very
some of the
tight.
crashes in the video that you see in that video, they definitely crash like bumper cars and
Sort
they're
of.
Like bouncing off.
Off each other
there
is damage
places.
that happens, but all of the cars are basically the same. They have the same restrictions, same fucking suspensions.
They
brakes.
say there's like a spending limit that they put. They put a cap
There's
on
a
what they're
cap
allowed
on
to
it,
play for like the
yes.
chassis and everything along those lines.
More for the batteries.
Okay. Now, so talk about the actual cars themselves. Aside from being open-wheeled and being electronic, what is the makeup of this vehicle? Are we looking at like hot rod fucking Teslas, basically? Is it
It's basically F1 style.
They look
cars
like F1 cars.
They look like F1 cars.
Yeah.
With
more futuristic though. They're not as aerodynamic. I want to say
there's some different body work, but it does not look like any sort of passenger car.
No,
it is a purpose-built race car in the vein that F1
What I can do,
is.
I can actually show you a shot of one.
But they all have the electric motors.
Okay. And now with the electric motors, is this in the way of how a Tesla would be basically?
Yeah.
You turn it on and all of the power is available right away.
Yes.
Like you can just go.
All right, so that's what the electric cars look like.
That is, they look like souped up go-karts. They really do. And I guess that's the open wheel in my inexperience with.
But they're the same length of a F1.
Of an F1.
I don't know if they're as wide.
All right. Now, do you know as far as the racing goes? I mean,
0 to 60 times are comparable.
Well, it's
to
about
F1,
2.5 seconds.
But top speed is not.
What is the top speeds that they're reaching in these races?
They can go to 240. The horsepower, or I shouldn't say horsepower, but what the E can max out at 240, but they can sustain at 170 for moments of time. That's why they're running road courses where there's not a lot of straights.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restrictions as far as that goes. It's only a 45-minute race plus 1 lap.
Okay.
That's the way they do it. So you run 45 minutes plus 1 lap.
All right.
And whoever's out front wins.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And the +1 from what I gather is if somebody does the 45 minutes too quickly, like let's say you're 45 minutes and 1 second and you made it through the finish line.
Yeah.
You're the leader of the race. That +1 doesn't start until you finish that lap, which ended on 45 minutes because you were already through.
Almost every brand of racing has a white flag. Like even NASCAR,
yes.
if they go to the last lap under caution,
yes,
they will do They will do the white flag lap.
But in situations like that, when you extend time, that's where you, in this form of racing, where it matters the most. That's where you run into cars running out of battery life, and other things, and watching. I recommend, like, if you're into racing or if you're not necessarily into racing but kind of want to get into something, at least sit down. You can find all the videos on YouTube. Yeah. You can find the full races on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Watch one of them because it is a sort of a mix of video games. They have these things that cars can drive over.
Yeah, that's what we want to get to next then. So the allure to it, and with the donut video that you sent, he's kind of given 5 bullet points of why you need to be into this, and one of them, or 2 of them really are basically it's gaming. It's on the level of gaming as close as you can get to
in the right
gaming
direction
and racing.
I don't think that they're handling it the best way, and there's stipulations to it. So there's a thing.
No, we should get to the pad is what he's talking
about.
Yeah.
All right. So the pad.
There's how when you play Mario Kart or Crash Racing, there was always a turbo boost pad.
But you don't have to. You don't get a boost right there. You collect
real
it.
in life, though.
Yeah.
They have implemented these electronic sensors in certain parts of the track that if you hit it correctly,
you will pick up a 25
you pick
watt
up some sort of electronical boost to your motor, and that's only possible because they're electronic vehicles.
Yes, and you can use them whenever you want,
as you choose.
And the stipulations to that stuff is they're randomly put on a track, and from what other races I did see, they put them in really shitty spots so that it almost makes it sort of Mario Kart-ish. Like it might be around an S turn. It might be in an S turn, but on the outside of an S turn. So if you're going to it, you're not getting a clean cut.
Yeah.
So people are just flying everywhere. And an hour before the race actually starts, they'll tell you how many times you have to actually use it.
Okay.
And where the positioning on it.
Okay, they will tell you before the race, so it's not like they're going down 1 hour beforehand. So
for the championship race, they made them do 3 of them, and every team was like, "We've never done 3, so we don't know if we're going to have enough energy."
All right, so those are things that they can pick up along the course while they are racing themselves. Yes. Now, there's another thing that seems to be a little bit more on the controversial side, and that's the fan boost.
The fan boost thing seems crazy. Basically, your favorite driver, you vote for them,
popularity
and they
contest.
get it for 5 seconds. An insane boost. It's like maybe 100 watts or 150 watts of power for 5 seconds. Now, when you're watching the race, you're not really noticing when people are using these.
Yeah.
You'll hear commentators be like, "Oh, they just use a boost," and it's like.
But if you were watching it on mute, you didn't notice a huge difference, a huge change.
Well, I'm glad that you said mute, because one of the big things, the biggest thing that I'm going to have a problem with in watching this is it sort of gave me a headache. I was watching it with headphones on. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but the noise that comes off of these things sounds like big RC cars that used to play with. They're really whiny. Yeah, I'm going to play the actual audio.
Oh, yeah, you pulled the audio, right?
Yeah, and then I'm going to play the comparison of an F1.
Can we make sure that this is not going to deafen us? I don't care about the people at home, just us right now. Okay. Sure. So you're going to play first the sound.
This is just the cars driving.
Formula E.
You may hear some commentators because it's not from a Formula team or anything. It's from...
All right, so let's hear what we got for the...
Brilliant move from the man from Maastricht. Going to keep going for it, as he has done with Sebastian Buemi, dummied him beautifully.
That move was much better than your nickname, Jack. That was
fireworks are going off while RC cars are racing.
Tank mode. He's going to have another go. Wow, really good work from France. Had a tank mode on.
Now, real quick. Defending from Degrassi. When you have regular racing and when you're at NASCAR, how many people are wearing earbuds or headphones?
Tons of people. It's loud as fuck.
Do people need to wear this
They say no.
Okay.
But realistically, they were talking about fan base.
Yeah.
There's really no place for people to watch this.
Okay.
Like, you can't, like, there's certain turns that you can stand around, but there's no, like, there.
Oh, in the actual
They're all
live
street courses.
Yeah.
It's not like there's grandstands anymore.
So the best would be if they had like a central hub and they could kind of see everything around, or if you were in like a lift balloon or something.
Yes,
you know?
but I mean, like in Donut, they were talking about how many fans it had, and for an early sport, I'm sure it does have a lot of fan base.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to go see this live, I don't know if you can.
Now, do you think that's why they open up the grounds beforehand to give
that everybody can actually walk and see the cars?
Which is crazy because he in that video is literally standing next to people working on a car, and it's just him and the other dude that he's with just filming alongside them, and they're literally right there. And I mean,
now Kyle, they can't see this, but just to show you a comparison of the cars, this is what real F1s look like.
Okay.
Also to note, on the Formula E, they all run the same tires.
Okay.
They're just like basically the same tires you put on a regular car.
Now, Formula 1, do they have the same tires, or can they custom to
no,
whatever they want?
I mean, they can't necessarily custom or whatever they want, but in Formula E, they're running all-purpose tires that you put on your car.
Yeah.
So you could change, you say,
but
you know,
these
this
tires are
track
expensive.
is doing something, you know what I mean? I'm not hitting it in the corners.
Yeah.
They could go in for a swap to a harder compound, a softer compound.
But I'm sure they're buying most of their tires from one or two different companies. But you can notice a difference in size of tires.
Oh, yeah.
The tire is the same height as the whole car.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's...
So now I'm going to get into the actual audio of what a Formula 1 car sounds like.
All right.
And
it's lights out, and away we go. Verstappen this time around does get an excellent start, and Hamilton
now,
too.
Are people wearing headphones here?
On the tail of his teammate, Bottas coming back at Verstappen. 3 abreast with the 2
down by
Ferraris
the
behind.
roads,
Bottas locks up his brakes. Verstappen on the inside into
so
the lead.
those smokes aren't nice little bonuses he just picked up?
As he goes wheel to wheel with the McLaren and Carlos Sainz. Verstappen leads from Bottas, who locks up again.
But there's something to that. There's something to that sound of that car.
Might squeeze through on the inside now.
They sound like jets flying by.
And I've heard the argument from people just like at the bar, people that are big into big car people that don't like electronic cars because the audible aesthetic of the sound of a car. And I can get that. Like, as somebody who enjoys listening to records because of the sound
from that angle
you get off of a vinyl versus a digital recording, I can understand that analog versus digital fight here.
Sure.
But
they can, I mean, it would draw power, but they could easily put fake sound.
F1 doesn't sound like it used to sound either.
No, you're right.
F1's running turbo V6s now.
You're right.
They do not sound as brutal as the V12.
No, I mean, it's not going to sound like a drag car or a top fuel dragster, which have you ever stopped and listened to some of those things?
Yep. Oh, yeah, no,
like
I've
the rumble from, like, you feel that car.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, even if you don't hear it, you're feeling that. You know, like, but I don't know, just the aesthetic of hearing the F1 fly by.
The sound on the cars too is going to be a nostalgia thing that we're going to lose.
For sure, it's already happening.
We all remember fucking the neighbor down the street that had the fucking Bel Air.
Oh yeah.
With the or some guy with a Harley with a cam in it, and it's you know. But kids,
I mean, there will be some people that are collectors that still have them. But it happens now in V6s.
Yeah.
BMW has done it in some of their smaller versions of their fucking vehicles.
with the fake sounds.
Yeah, where you can have whatever simulated sound that you want.
Yeah.
You could sound like a V8 if you wanted to. Like,
but I feel like that's for us older car enthusiasts.
I agree.
Some kid that's born today that is in 20 years from now is going to be a race fan, that it doesn't sound like the old V12s.
Won't be as big of a deal.
It's not going to bother them because they didn't grow up.
There will be those that were raised in it still.
Do you think we would get in shit if we modified the live feeds of Formula E to have the simulated sounds of
If you did them with your mouth, like the Crazy Frog video.
Maybe.
So do we need 22 individual people to be on microphone for that?
Yes, we need a 22-person podcast, and everyone has their car. They have the big...
I'm going to make it sound exactly the same, actually. It's just going to be, or just a whistle. A high whistle. Yeah. That actually sounds kind of like it sounds when those cars
But
go
I don't know.
by.
That's the only thing that's my big gripe on it. I mean,
understood.
You know,
understood. Now, as far as the actual race aspect of it, the drivability of the vehicle, everything along those lines, it's
up to the driver.
But is it pretty much the same level as Formula One?
Oh yeah, easily. So, like they're using maybe more so.
I mean, our drivers crossing over from Formula One into this.
I believe some are.
I would assume that
the payday on this is obviously not going to be what the payday on.
No, but if you can get on the ground level and
as it's blown up,
if you're a mediocre to good guy in Formula One,
a lot of those Formula One drivers lose their spots and have no place to go. Yeah. So it's just like, well, fuck it, I'll do Formula E or before it was what F3, F2.
There's F2 and F3.
Yeah. So they'll drop back down to that, find teams. But I don't know. I think I lost what the fuck I was.
Well, I was asking about the actual aspect of the driver and
getting into
the racing is still
the same thing.
The racing is more on the driver because, like in Formula One, I don't know if you've noticed their steering wheel.
Yes.
Has a billion fucking things on it. And in Formula One, they could at any second get on the radio and tell you to put the fucking fuel, like the fuel pump or whatever the fuck it is, to like 13%, so you're not drawing too much fuel for your next lap.
Okay.
So basically, what it relies on for the Formula E driver is they can change settings so that they're getting maximum power out of it.
I'm saying it's voice activated too, because you're in a fucking all electronic car. You might as well have fucking Siri there.
Yeah. Basically,
just like reduce. You need to have your, My Girl Friday. You need to have that in there.
Yeah,
that should be the next level of
Jarvis.
This. You need your Jarvis. You definitely do. Your Jarvis. Jarvis. Yeah.
But I think it puts it more on the driver. There's no pit stops.
Yeah.
There's none of that shit.
That is a cool thing too. There's no pits. It's just the
wheels.
Race.
If tires blow out, they're done. They're done.
Basically, yeah.
Basically
at that point, they're a lap down.
Well,
I don't know
if you blow a tire out on an F1 track, you're not coming.
Yeah,
even if you limp to the pits and get new tires on, your race is over.
Okay.
You have
most of the time they'll just.
Well, I'm saying in the way that like in a NASCAR race, I mean, obviously they're going probably a lot farther. But if you're in a NASCAR race and you just stop and the guy just fucking team
that
comes out,
tire was 90%. Those 4 tires are 90% of your car. So if one blows, you're doing some damage.
What if it doesn't blow? There's no need to replace throughout the race.
Well, then there was something else is fucked on there and bent.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, and they're so temperamental.
Those tires, the way the car is built, is you do not need to change
you bend something, and you're fucked.
Well,
they're just gonna call it.
Their races are shorter, so they don't have to have. Because the battery only lasts so long.
Yeah.
They used to get out of the car, like jump out of the car, get into another one.
Oh, shit.
When it first started. But now it's, you know what I mean? With the battery life, they figured there's going to be no pits for tires. Yeah. You know what I mean? Your tires will last the whole
realistically, like race. I said, they're running brand new all-purpose tires that you put on your car.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Just a really expensive version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what do you think overall for this sport? You said it's 5 years in right now. This is the 6th year
I think
it's going into.
All right. So my criticism, I talked to Zach about it after I watched the race, and the boost seems cool, right? But I feel like what they need to do is get on the level of that it like supercharges your car.
Okay.
Like recharges your battery to a point, like you get like 30% more battery, so that you can run your car on open for longer.
All right.
Instead of just getting like a 2-second boost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like
and does that boost then still drain your energy from your vehicle, like when you use it
in full power? Yeah, because I mean you're putting your car to full power. So if you get a 30% battery life, you can run it at full power probably for a couple more laps than just hitting it for 3 seconds. You know, and I think that would make it a little more interesting for that.
Okay.
I mean, and then it's just a matter of time before they figure out how to electronically shoot fucking turtle shells and shit like that.
That would be the next.
Like realistically, to like cut power back on a car.
Kids that grew up playing Mario Kart are now old enough to be a driver in real life Mario Kart.
I feel like that's what digital NASCAR is going to go to. Like NASCAR, because they're just like, you know what, fuck it, we go in circles. Like, we just need turtle shells.
Yeah, just start throwing shit at oil slicks,
beer cans,
like James Bond. Oh my god, it'd be great. Just do an old school Sean Connery level, like you just dropped a bunch of tacks behind me, and everybody exploded.
And it pops up on a digital screen, and when you're driving by, you have to avoid it.
You have to avoid it, and if not, you just get a little slow. Your engine just auto slows down for like a second, 2 seconds, and then
or whatever it is,
you go right back into it.
Yep.
So, do you think there's longevity in this, Justin? Do you think this is something that
is
going to build? And
there's enough people that are into electric cars.
It's the future of our personal vehicles, and it also, because we are literally running out of fossil fuels.
Yep.
Electric vehicles are 100%, I believe, the future of racing.
Sure.
And transport, and 100 years from now, when there's only electric vehicles, people can be like, "What do you mean there was?"
Well, you stopped the gas.
You put a incredibly dangerous, flammable liquid.
Which will be very weird because the only people that will have access to fossil fuels at that point will be the power plants.
Yeah. And just the individual super rich that still own their fields of oil for some reason.
Fields of oil, and then it'll be a rich person's game owning Jay Leno's garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God.
Like even more so.
Yeah, because imagine in 100 years, just if you had a classic car,
or they're just show items.
There's no gas. What do you do with it?
Yeah, you then have to.
Well, you'd have to convert it.
Car.
You would have to convert them. They would have to figure out a way. Or they're just showpieces at that point. They sit in museums.
You just sit there and just stare at it.
It belongs in a museum.
So do you. So, Zach, do you think, being a NASCAR fan, do you think that this takes over in popularity in the next 10 years over NASCAR? Or an electric version for NASCAR, not necessarily the
No, I think in a couple of years, NASCAR will roll out an electric.
Okay.
Or they already have one, we just don't know about it.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
I'm sure that stock car racing in the form of NASCAR will roll out some sort of electric.
Because there are people fighting tooth and nail to have straight up just old school, because if racetracks implement that, then that affects the small guys and the small tracks and all of that shit. So people that are running sprint cars, they're gonna have to figure out a way to make them electric.
I mean, electric cars are already taking over drag strips across America.
Sure.
Electric cars are huge in the drag scene right now.
The amount of money and shit it costs them to run one time a drag strip is insane, dude.
Motocross right now too, especially in the. What was it? Last year's Red Bull. What's the straight line one called?
I don't remember.
I forget. It's a straight shot. It's basically like a motocross drag race, but there's jumps.
They come back and forth though.
I think it was the guy who got second place last year at the Red Bull.
Oh yeah. The first time he has his first
running a full electronic bike.
Hell yeah.
But he could do that because he's running. He knows how much power he needs to fucking unleash it.
I mean, electric racing is.
So without a doubt, it's on its way up and up.
Every kind of racing
out of the necessity, as you're saying, with the limiting of how much we're gonna have fossil fuel wise over the next 10 years, let alone the next 100 years, and then technology advancing. Do you think that the electronic version of NASCAR will fully eclipse it at some point?
I think all electronic racing eventually will eclipse everything.
Yeah.
But there's one big thing that we're missing here.
What's that?
Modern day uses of the technology they implemented on something as stupid as an attack boost. Imagine, dude, imagine being able to drive over.
Attack boost.
Well, that's where you pick up the power up.
Oh, that's okay.
The attack boost. It's called attack boost. Because fan boost is for the fans only. Attack boost is the one that's on the track.
Gotcha.
But modern day things where there could be sensors for your car, your automated car, to, let's say you're on the highway and you need to get off onto a certain exit, allowing enough time or having it set up so that your car knows through that sensor that that's where the exit's coming from. Like them doing that, like just like technology in general, technology forges the way to modern day life. Like, so whether it's racing, which is the top of the top, video games, movies, any of that stuff has modernized how we are. So like, companies pushing technology to where it needs to be modernizes what we have. We wouldn't have cell phones and shit like that if it wasn't for movies, video games, internet,
military.
any of these. Yeah, the military, all that shit.
All right, so then how about this?
They've already had test roads where they've put electronic, like basically like the same way that you wirelessly charge your
where you can charge under the road.
In the UK, they were doing it like the green roads.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your car charges
as
you
you
drive.
go.
Yeah. And then I've also heard that they're going to use it to help generate energy that while you are driving on a certain part, you will be helping generate energy for basically the local area you're driving through. And then that replaces the need for any tolls.
Sure.
So if you are driving on this road, you driving on the road makes energy for us. Go drive on the road all you want.
But we have one problem with that.
What's
Pennsylvania cannot keep up.
Well, no, Pennsylvania will never have those. Pennsylvania will... most of America will never have those.
It'll be in major cities.
But Pennsylvania can't just have roads.
Yes,
like we've been doing that for over 100 years, and we can't do that side of it.
Yes, it's
like
a big problem.
We were better off with dirt.
Yeah, at this point,
have you heard a lot of rural areas in the country are going back to dirt roads because of the amount of money it costs to upkeep a shitty road. Is way more than the cost to upkeep a dirt road.
Yeah,
I mean,
go
at this point,
lay some dirt down and then roll over it and just make sure you're fucking maintaining it. And then literally, what do you need to do? Get a steamroller back out with more dirt and just lay more dirt.
The hardest part is the winter, but then at that point, just make sure it's salted the fuck and you don't have to worry about destroying anything. Like really, I'll take dirt roads.
I'll totally take dirt roads.
As long as they're not packed with so many fucking rocks. Just give me dirt roads. Just give me dirt roads.
Yeah, I think
you gotta clean your car.
I think
more.
dirt ways. Yeah, fuck it. Dirt is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's much better because I mean our roads, literally cobblestone roads, are fucking holding up from 400 years ago, and these are fucking
with more people going through them daily.
Yeah, like you look at Philly. There are streets in Philly that are literally just
people aren't flying on them, but still
trucks and garbage trucks and back trucks. Everything's going on those fucking roadways.
They get plowed. Shoveled.
Yeah. All the time, and fuck it, our roads here can't hold up. So let's go dirt. I think we go dirt.
I'm fine with that. Dude.
Yeah. Now,
okay, so people from flying around too.
It would, and then when they do fly around, it'll just look cooler.
True.
Just dirt kicking up everywhere. It'd be nice.
No more burnouts, man.
Yeah. Oh God. Could you burn out on a dirt road?
I mean, you just kick a bunch of shit up.
It's so easy to burn out into dirt.
Well, I know. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I've never done it.
We're turning Wooddale Road into a Group B course.
Wood Dirt Road.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it.
Oh. All right.
Dirtdale.
Basically, it's unanimous between the two of you that electronic cars, obviously, they are the future. Electronic car racing is going to, in turn, be the future there. Do they have any of these races in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah. The championship race was in New York City.
It was in New York? All right.
I don't know what they sectioned off, but...
What you're able to actually see kind of hurts right
down
now.
by the docks-ish area.
Okay. Now...
Down by the docks,
where the watermelons grow? Oh, that's the bay. Never mind. All right, so they're in America, so we could potentially try to go see a race or walk around and experience that.
I would love to go.
Fuck yeah. Well, then I'm saying we're gonna add. I need to add then next year NASCAR, and then one of these Formula E cars, and then
just gotta find out when the races are. But they go to 12 different countries, just like like F1.
Hell yeah.
Well, F1 does more countries, but. Their race season's insane.
I mean, we're slowly becoming a car show right now.
Yeah.
We are I
mean, Top Gear's over.
Grand
Tour's over.
Grand Tour's done.
Time to
they need something else. Kyle Mocha don't know cars.
We just put you into very expensive fast cars.
And you just tell the owner, no, he knows what the fuck he's doing. This guy's a pro. You know the Stig? This guy's like two of the Stig.
He's
literally
just a comedian, so he's going to come off like he doesn't know shit.
Yeah, he likes to pretend he's an idiot, but he really knows cars.
Wait, is it stick shift? All right, don't put him in that one.
What is that button? Why are there two gas pedals? Or is it two brake pedals? I don't know what I'm doing. It's pretty and yellow, though.
Well, see, with electronic cars, you won't have to worry about it.
You just press a button.
They don't have transmissions.
Nope.
At all.
They have a cable.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you just you're not shifting
just a
anything?
lever.
Are you just hitting buttons at this point?
There's no shifting in an electronic car.
But I'm saying like just to say like drive, reverse, like
drive. Yeah, drive,
Probably.
reverse.
just buttons.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, ever since I saw iRobot, I just wanted one of those, not the self-driving Audis, but you know how he takes it off self-driving. Yeah. That just always looked cool as hell. But also, it's the tunnels that they build for that.
But do you think that when we get driving, like self-driving cars as a steady thing, will they have an do you think they'll give us the option to take it
off? I think they have to. I think that would be.
I think when they perfect self-driving, you won't. Anywhere where the car could drive itself, you won't be allowed to.
You won't be allowed, but they're going to have to be able to be driven
everywhere
in case of emergency situations, and then you're going to probably really only have, like in that movie, main highways, like high traffic areas.
Realistically,
those are going to be the ones that you can auto drive.
So if you have cars that are auto driving at that point, you're going to have response vehicles that are way quicker, almost immediate, because they'll know if there's an issue.
Yeah, we just got to perfect it, because right now the idea of a fucking Tesla self-driving itself while somebody's just taking a nap and not paying attention.
I mean, I don't think I would ever be able to do that, but I don't know what's more terrifying: being in the driver's seat, not being able to do anything, and watching something go down, or
those
just being
seats
asleep.
turn around so you can talk to the person in the back seat, so you don't actually have to look at it going down.
Or being asleep and not knowing what the fuck's actually going on.
I wouldn't be able to fall asleep in that. I mean, fuck, I wouldn't be able to.
I won't lie. If I had a self-driving car, I'd so fucking fall asleep. If I'm in a car and I'm not driving, I usually fall asleep.
If I'm in a seat and I'm not talking, I usually fall asleep. At one point before, my eyes were open and I made and Zach just went, "Are you falling asleep?" And I was just like, "No," but I was awake, but I definitely fell into a. Like then eyes open and everything, fully conscious, but my body just went and like, you're gonna go to sleep now. Yeah. Because you're just comfortable and sitting down. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. All right, so hey, we need to think of something else racing wise. Then we're gonna talk about next week, because we got to keep this going.
Cool.
I don't know anything that we're talking about. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Are you gonna watch a Formula E race?
I'm definitely gonna watch these now. I'm gonna. I watched a little bit after I watched that video. I just found the suggested videos came up.
It's 45 minutes of your time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch a whole race, but I'll watch like highlights and shit from races.
You know what? Watch the full goddamn race.
I got 45 minutes, man.
Oh my god!
I got 2 full days off that I need to not watch that. And I gotta sleep. People gotta sleep, Justin.
We'll see if you put the full race on. You'll wake up in between and catch highlights.
So why don't I just watch highlights then?
All right, fuck it.
I win the conversation.
All right, you know what?
I win. All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight for Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. Everybody that joined us live and everybody that's listening in the future. Yeah. Again, if you were here live or you're watching it on YouTube, I do want to say a quick. Again, thank you for sticking through the technical difficulties at the end. Yeah. And if you are at the beginning, and the ones that are to come, I'm guaranteeing more technical difficulties to come.
We're not done fucking up.
We're not done fucking up. Love you, miss you as well, brother. Thank you for tuning in as always. You adorable little man, you.
Go watch some Formula E.
Go watch some Formula E. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for you. But as always, big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpado for putting everything together.
Yeah, man. You're welcome.
And Mr. Zachary.
Hanging an electric race car at Chakuchi.
Storming. There you go. There you go.
Keith called somebody a dick.
It's probably me. I said he's a gorgeous little man or something like that. Sorry. Gorgeous little lady. You're a handsome woman. And as always, go check out our other podcast from Moot.tv, White Wasabi, and Let Me Ask You a Question, featuring Eric, Greg, and Sir Anthony of the Angels. We will be back next week with part 3, at least a little bit. Part 3 of the Garbage Man Epic, and to talk more about cars or something like that.
Things.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much again. As always, here's our closing theme song to play us out.
Fuck off!
Fuck off, I guess. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Okay.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Moot.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be total experimental pieces of shit. We're not over yet. Now we are.